this is something I know a lot about. It's part of the reason why I wear this mask. One, because I enjoy being able to make these videos and be a little bit more wacky and stuff than I would be normally. But I also have an issue with confidence. See, I don't really like my face. And if anyone who's watching can relate to that, well, I understand that insecurity. So, I mentioned before that I'm 30, right? So I'm a little bit older. I'll be 31 soon. And feeling as if, say, you're unattractive, or, you know, I joke about it a lot, but like maybe you're, like, you weigh a lot or something, it can really weigh on you, for lack of a better term. It can bother you, but the thing is, all the time that you spend worried about these things, for example, the looks thing, if you feel like you aren't attractive, if you worry about that and spend all of your time worrying about it, it's not actively changing anything. All it's doing is stressing you out. And what you won't realize is if you just spend your time, one, feeling sad about it, which, you know, I understand, obviously, like, I know about that, a lot about that, but two, if you also spend your time just kind of thinking about it and ruminating, it won't actually change anything. You look around and you see, oh my word, very weird. Anyways, you look around and you see people who maybe are accomplishing things that you want to. So what I've come to understand is that a lot of the hurdles before you are self-imposed. I've been told that I'm disgusting looking, but I've also been told that I'm, one person said, painfully beautiful, which I don't know if they just pulled that out of their ass. Maybe they did, but it's all in the eye of the beholder, right? So, let's say one person thinks you're unattractive. If you liked that person, that sucks, but they can really go kick rocks, right? Like, I mean, think about it. What does their opinion really matter in the grand scheme of your life? Not much. Same with if a person thinks you're fat or something, or for some reason feels the need to personally attack you because of something like your weight. What do they care? Like, at that point, you gotta be looking at them and thinking, this guy or girl has so little to do in their life that they're spending their time, their time on this earth, which is not infinite. They are spending their time worried about you and the shape of your body. It's very weird. But the more you ruminate on that, like the negative, the more you get, like, trapped in just like an endless cycle of thoughts. And let me tell you, from someone who's 30 and who spent his entire 20s doing that, it's not worth worrying that much about. If you really want to worry about it, say your looks. Look. I'm sorry. That sounds like something like a horror game or something where someone's like knocking at the door, like what is that one? Where there's like a stranger at the door. Yes, I am a human or something. I don't know. That is weird. You can tell it's storming out. It's actually the apocalypse out there. But there's a couple things you can do. So going back to the looks thing, again, like the only thing I can really think about that would be easily fixable is just dental spent so much time ruminating and pissed off and all this that I ground my teeth until like the front tooth cracked out. And that's no way to live, and you will become that angry if you spend your time pissed off about this stuff, right? Sorry that I keep going back and forth. I've got ADHD and I do not have access to my medication right now. Maybe on payday though. YouTube payment is coming soon, so maybe I'll be able to do that. Anyways, your teeth, your grills, or whatever you like to call them, if they're clean, if they're whitened, if they're flossed, if you have like halitosis, first, that's like bad breath, check for tonsil stones. Take the back of your toothbrush, shine a light, and move it around your tonsil. If white stones come out of there, then you know that you have tonsil stones. And all that means is you have to like gargle with salt water. I do it every couple days. Make sure that you keep hydrated, like don't get a dry mouth. And also maybe 4 or 5 days, just check for more tonsil stones. They smell horrible, but that is what causes bad breath sometimes when, say, there's like no other explanation for it. But once you've dealt with that, the dental situation, as long as you don't have like a strange facial hair or something that doesn't suit you, there's nothing low cost that you can really change. And plastic surgery is a big investment that honestly most of the time doesn't pay off. I think everyone is good looking, okay? And I don't mean that means I would like find everyone attractive. I just mean everyone looks like fine. I've never met someone who was like ugly. Do you get what I mean? And so it's just I struggle to understand where it comes from. How you'll see perfectly normal people who they look completely normal. You'd walk down the street and you wouldn't look at them, you wouldn't stare at them, but they think they're like the ugliest person in the world or something. Like, I don't get it. Because it's like, you know that you look fine. You can do what you need. You could go to the gym, lift weights, whatever, lose weight, because losing weight changes the face structure, right? But you're being too hard on yourself, and it builds. The longer you do it, the worse it gets. Like, what was it? There was this dude who was obsessed with like looks maxing, it's called, where you basically go out of your way to make yourself into what you perceive to be what other people would want. I feel like that would destroy yourself, and I understand where it comes from, because you're insecure. You have maybe this want to be validated by people who aren't giving you validation, like, I don't know, some K-pop idol you want to date or something, I don't know, but there's someone whose attention you wish you had, but you don't. But the thing is, what if you put in all that work, and that person doesn't even like you anyway? Did it really make, like, especially relating to physical appearance here, was it worth it, really? Let's say you get a bunch of plastic surgery, for what? It's just money down the drain. People age, people get older, people look different. It's not a big deal. And like 9 times out of 10, I'm telling you, if you're being hard on yourself, your brain is distorting it to make it worse than it is. Like I said, I've never met someone who is truly ugly. You know what I mean? And people might say, oh, you're talking out of your ass, but really, people are just, they put too much stock in that. Again, there are things that could be off-putting, like the dental thing, but that's just, it's not what people think it is. You know what I mean? And like, I'll tell you, so when I was in my 20s, I really wanted to make music and stuff, and I tried that for a little bit. Tried it until eventually I think I was like 28 or 29. I was just like, screw it, I'm done. And it bothered me that I felt I could never make something that was truly beautiful. Like it would just, all I could make would be ugly. And then I thought about it, and it's like, well, why would I put myself down like that? You know what I mean? Just because I'm not making something that I feel like is as good as what other people are making, that doesn't mean that I'm less of a person or something, you know? And also, that doesn't mean that there are other areas that I can't succeed in, that perhaps even the people who I had idolized couldn't. Spooky house. But, I mean, really, don't pigeonhole yourself into one little area, and then if you can't accomplish something there, just feel like you're a failure. And I know that my talks aren't usually the most structured. You know, I'm not really the best at structured stuff, but what I'm getting at is stuff that I've learned because I kind of lived through it, you know? And like, I assume it's always been that way, where people will compare themselves to, say, celebrities or movie stars or actors or actresses or whatever, and feel like they're less. For the actual true way to get rid of that feeling, I can't say I know, but I just know that the more time you put into actually accomplishing things in your real life, your day-to-day life, the less important these feelings of inadequacy become. Onto the weight thing. If you worry about your weight too much, you might neglect other issues. And this, again, this can be applied to any insecurity. You put yourself into this little bubble, and then you don't pay attention to anything else that could help you or could be making your situation worse. When it comes to the weight stuff, I know. Believe me, I know. Like, I'm not doing too well because of that. I've got like sweating all the time for no reason, like bead of sweat down the forehead. And it's like, what the hell? I went to my doctor and he's like, well, you gotta lower your triglycerides in your blood. And I'm always worried about it. You know what? But like, if I just got in shape, which I want to do, it would help immensely. If I take my inhaler, my orange inhaler daily, it would help my breathing, because I have issues with that. If I get my sleep apnea machine, that'll help me with migraines and stuff. If I take my medications, I'll be good. It's all a matter of getting rid of the things that ultimately may seem nice in the moment, but that harm you overall. Like with the junk food thing. That's my main thing. Junk food is an issue with me. Soda. Snacks. I need to be eating vegetables and stuff. And if anyone's watching, you relate to me. You know what I mean? There's this one guy. He was on My 600-Pound Life. He's Stephen Asante. I sometimes see videos of him and he's really like not doing well. And I can't help but think, if he assessed the mental stuff going on, and also at the same time assessed the weight stuff, if he got like new dentures and stuff, if he fixed his hair up, if he like just did a little bit of stuff, he could be happy. Do you know what I mean? And I think anyone suffering with weight and stuff, it's you're eating, and this is for me too, it's either out of boredom or because you're depressed. The issue is either you don't want to fix it or you can't fix it due to money issues, or it's something like, it seems insurmountable at times, and then once the pressure comes on, that's when you kind of crack. And I'm working on not cracking. It's difficult, but like another one I have, celiac. I really need to fix that because I eat wheat all the time and I shouldn't be doing that for years. GERD for years, like decades. But if I can fix that, then I might be able to be alright and make ASMR stuff for you guys for years to come. And let's take it and turn it over to you watching. If you've got these insecurities, what things could you accomplish if you just got hold of those things bothering you that are causing these issues? I know it's easier said than done, but I really do think it's important. Oh, I apologize for the wind in the background, though maybe it kind of adds a little something to this video. I have some coffee. I'll bring up another interesting thing. So if you listen to K-pop, there was this guy called Josh in 1994, and he was like, he still is, obsessed with this singer, Nayeon from Twice. She's the leader of Twice. Very good singer, by the way. I'd say Chaeyoung's my favorite, then Daein and Sana, I guess, and Mina. Mina, definitely. But, yeah, so he was from Germany, and he overcame all this stuff, abuse of parents and stuff, but he became obsessed with this singer to the point that he would fly to Korea, board flights that the group was on, and just basically harass this person. And apparently he's like a millionaire, and it's like, I try to put myself in the shoes of someone who could, I'm one of two minds. Because if a person truly is troubled, and it's not a situation where they're like being malignant, like a malignant narcissist type of thing, but they're trying to make it seem like they care, but they just want to control somebody, that's a whole other bag of worms. But if it's just someone who has like issues, it baffles me that somebody can be extremely successful in, say, financial stuff, career, but then be like agonizing over something like dating a celebrity. Do you know what I mean? Like, there are literally, I'm pretty sure there's probably like 20 people, more than that, probably like 200,000 people who look like me. You know what I mean? There's probably 200,000 people who look like you. And with celebrities, there's probably like 500,000 people who look like them in some way, shape, or form. Why do you have to have this one person? Again, it's gotta be a combination of like mental factors and stuff like that that would lead to that. But it's just bizarre. It's like, if you have all this success in one thing, build yourself up to be someone who people want to gravitate towards, not throw yourself towards situations where there's people who clearly don't want anything to do with you. Again, it comes down to like a psychological thing. There's a lot of situations like that, like, I don't know, like just people who can't stop putting their own foot in front of them and tripping themselves down. To change requires a mindset change. For me, one very, very positive thing was when I started taking Lexapro and also my ADHD medication, because when those two medications are combined, for the most part, they allow me to function at a higher level than I would say now. Now I can talk and ramble, but if I'm at work or something, it's a bit more difficult. I become, somewhat slightly more agitated, I guess, than usually when I take my Lexapro and begin, they call it catastrophizing. So where you think of worst case scenario, like for health and stuff, and it's bad. Because if you have something like obsessive compulsive disorder, health anxiety, these things, they coalesce into one great big, like, Ouroboros thing. Like a circle of, I don't know, what's that, they, like, go into a big, just a never-ending cycle. And I don't have all the answers. I'd like to get at least like a counselor's diploma or something. Some sort of thing where I have more qualification about this. What I'd really like is to be a psychologist, or be able to implement that in a form at wherever I currently am, like working in any way I can, capacity-wise. It'd be nice to be able to better understand people, and I know that you can never truly understand somebody else, but you gotta keep in mind that everyone is a person, and even though it might seem like, to us, someone is behaving in like a quote-unquote NPC manner, there is most definitely a lot more at work there, at play there. And I feel like we need to not only be aware of our own insecurities and actually take steps to fix them, but also we have to be aware that other people have insecurities, and you never know how bad of a day they've had or what they're dealing with. And that's why you see people kind of just crash out, for lack of a better term. I'm hoping that society will become more kind in the future. That's what I've learned, because anger gets you nowhere, and spending your time worrying about these insecurities, as hard as it is, it ultimately harms you to do that. So, if you're watching, if you've got insecurities, I feel for you. I'm wishing the best for you. And I truly believe everyone can become a better version of themselves and get over those insecurities. It takes a lot of effort, but I know it's possible. So, with that being said, I want to thank my channel members, and I will go there right now. I'm thinking of, if I ever hit like 15 or so channel members, or 20, I'll probably start doing like a on-screen thing. But I would like to thank Biting Goat, Tim, Trid, Bruno, David, and Marvin. I always say, and I mean it, I really appreciate the fact that you like these videos enough to put like money towards it. Like, it's amazing that people like these videos, that I've had success with it. It really is. Like, I was at a low point in my life, and the fact that I'm able to help people and do this, I think that's beautiful to me. I know I was talking about beauty earlier, but really. And I also want to thank, we hit right now 16,019 subscribers, which is very good. I know that taking out like sometimes I'll do like ads for videos and stuff, and it's helped a lot. And I'm glad that I've been able to find some people that way, because sometimes it's hard for me to think of like the most creative video ideas. The fact that people like what I'm doing, oh, that's creepy. The camera went all dark. The fact that people like what I'm doing, it really does mean a lot. So, I want to say thank you very much for watching. Things do get better, and I'm excited to see you in the next video, which should be tomorrow. I have a role play planned. I'm going to try to use the green screen a bit more. I also have access to some Canon cameras. I'm going to try to film something. I've got some Lego sets. I got an Animal Crossing one, and a couple one's Lego Friends and one's Lego Botanicals. I want to make Lego